welcome back. And as we earlier talked about, our first segment is going to be about the role of artificial intelligence in building the new republic. And to shed more light over this topic, we're mostly delighted to be having with us live here in the studio Dr. Nevine Makram. She's a professor of artificial intelligence and data science consultant. Good morning, Dr. Labib.
Good morning.
Let us first talk about or give a definition of the concept of the new republic. Of course, we all know we've been prepared and we have come a long way and we have taken numerous steps in establishing the new republic. But talk to us about how you see the concept of the new republic.
Okay, I see the new republic as a new way of life, as a better quality of life, an improved quality of life. So that's why Egypt started in 2018 by thinking about the new republic, thinking about building new buildings that rely mainly on the computer and the telecommunication technology. So we started by thinking about 22 smart cities, as we call them, and then by now I guess we're doing a hell of work about having 30 smart cities, and by 2050 it is expected to have 50 smart cities in our beloved country.
It's all based on artificial intelligence. I mean, no more. Of course, we'll still be like paper back books or, you know, the old-fashioned way of knowledge or the old-fashioned way of communication or especially the things that we used to use in the 90s and early 2000s.
Actually, no, we're not talking about the traditional ways, let's call them, or the old ways of handling data or of taking the decision. But we're talking about having a different layer, the information layer, which allows us to apply the artificial intelligence techniques in order to get more insights and to help the decision makers in the country.
Right. Talk to us about the concept of smart cities.
Okay, when we say smart city, we're talking about linked devices, linked people even, linked resources, or let's say shared resources. And another way of doing the processes, the actual processes in any institution or in any entity. So we're talking about having what we call the ICT, applying the information and the computer technology, and having an IT infrastructure. This infrastructure will allow the sharing of the data. Once we can share data, we can work on these data using what we call the data analytics. So we have actually 4 types of data analytics. First of all, we try to clean the data. We mean by cleaning, making sure that it's in a good shape. Because as we always say that garbage in, garbage out. If we have input data that is not good, that is noisy, that is incomplete, that is not updated, that is not accurate, then we'll come up with some insights that are not true.
And like give us an example.
An example. Let's say we're trying to collect some data about the job satisfaction levels in an institution. We need to make sure that we're applying many collection methods in order to do what we call validation. By validation, we're trying to make sure that the input data are valid, that are true, that are right, so that we can apply the analytics techniques. So that's one of the examples. So to do so, we need to gather internal and external data from various resources. And then to apply the validation tests. And once we're kind of sure that that's a good data to work on, then we try to apply the 4 analytics types. By analytics, we start first of all to describe what's going on. Why, for example, is the job satisfaction low or good, or you have first of all to specify what's going on. And then you try to get to know the reasons behind this. Why is it good or why is it bad? Once you do so, you can predict the next step. What will be the job satisfaction level in this company by the end of the year, for example. And hence you can get some insights and provide these insights or these indicators that are predicted to the decision makers so that they can take a prescriptive action or a corrective action.
Each institution would require a special type of work? when it comes to artificial intelligence? I mean,
Actually, it's one framework, but it is applicable in different ways according to the line of business, the resources, and so on. It's different. So you have some variables, but after all, it's one methodology that you can apply. It's one strategy as well in the country.
let us talk about the role of artificial intelligence in achieving goals of the new republic. Like I earlier said, that different institutions would require its one-based type of work, but it would need requirements according to the type of business, like you talked, and this is in general. But talk to us about how important is that in achieving the goals of each institution?
Actually, it's the goal of the new republic as a whole. So new republic looks at the citizen in a different way. Okay, it's a new mindset that's trying to provide a better style of life for the citizen in Egypt. So in order to do so, we need to be equipped with some indicators and some insights. And these insights will never be there unless we apply the artificial intelligence in the analysis phase. So for example, you can start by collecting whatever data you want. But once you do not apply these prediction methods, then you cannot provide the decision makers with insights, and hence they will not maybe be able to take the most appropriate decision, as we all say. So by providing these tools, we are equipping the institutions, the governmental agencies, with some prediction and some insights that will make their lives easy whenever it comes to taking the suitable decision, and hence it will have definitely better reward for the citizen.
That sounds very good or excellent, but that would also require qualified employees, qualified youth, qualified new generations who are strongly prepared to be able to execute this vision. The early beginnings of our generations, like in schools and in colleges, are we really equipped with preparations like in academia, in the way we try to form their cultural background and everything, to be able to be that generation who's going to execute these goals?
I think so, yes. Because we're starting in the schools to kind of talk about these issues. And definitely in the universities, we've got many faculties talking about artificial intelligence, specialized in artificial intelligence, whether as a standalone topic or as multidisciplinary program and multidisciplinary topic that's applying the AI in different fields. So I guess our youth are already getting ready for this. As for us, for our, let's say, our age group, we're trying to make these people ready by either doing some awareness programs or by applying the initiatives that the government is providing. We've got many initiatives provided so as to make us more ready. We call it the e-readiness, ready for this new mindset.
E-readiness, that would sound like a very good campaign to be launched, especially with also preparing citizens to be be qualified to cope with that particular new upgrade, or an upgrade for the whole country, especially that the elderly citizens would be having some difficulty coping with that new life.
Not only the elderly, but I guess
the illiterate and then the
yes,
people
the illiterate people, whether illiterate or computer illiterate, they will face some problems. So we need to make them ready. That's why we say the e-readiness. So e-readiness is not only about providing software and hardware and network and IT infrastructure, although these are required, of course, to start with, but you need also to make the people ready. Because in a smart city, the most important characteristic is having a smart citizen.
Exactly.
Okay, or else you'll be providing many facilities to a person who cannot really benefit out of it. So it's useless.
That's a problem.
That's a main challenge, let's call it a challenge, because actually we're trying to make these campaigns or this awareness by using, for example, our TV program right now. So you're trying now to shed more light and to explain what's meant by the new republic, because some of the people think that it's going to be only for these smart cities and they will be left out of it, although this is not true. You have two aspects or two dimensions, talking IT jargon. Then you will have smart cities about 50 smart cities by 2050. And on the other hand, in our older cities, things will get better because we'll apply the same methodology, the same approach, trying to connect and trying to link the different institutions in order to provide insights to the decision maker. So it's going to be equal for everybody.
Right. The implementation requirements and challenges. Of course, let us talk about the implementation requirements first, and then we talk about the challenges, because challenges also would weigh in.
Okay. For requirements, we're talking about the IT infrastructure. We need to assure that we have a strong IT infrastructure that will be able to connect all of the devices. So that's number one. Number two is having the software and hardware required. And I think that's a simple requirement whenever we talk automation, not only analytics or AI. And then having people who can apply, who can implement these programs or even develop these programs. The use, or maybe having some software houses, and here we can benefit from the private sector as well. So it's kind of a joint work between the governmental and private sector, because it's a lot of work to be done in these cities. So I guess these are the main requirements for any automated system or for any intelligent systems. And applying some of the artificial intelligence, getting ready, educating the people, the developers, with the new tools related to the data analytics. These are the main requirements.
What about the challenges?
Main challenge is our mindset. We need to see...
You mean the citizens' mindset?
Yes, to see things in a different way. That's the main challenge. To accept that there are some prediction, that there are some insights that can make the decision better or more appropriate. I think that's the main challenge for us. And also to educate the citizen, as you just mentioned. So maybe we need more TV programs, we need more awareness programs for the simple citizen who is not really into artificial intelligence or into the data analytics. So we should explain this to the people who are not really in our domain. Or else they will also feel that they're left behind. And we don't need them to have this feeling, because once they feel so, they will be trying to resist the system. Yes, and they will resist everything new.
They will be having difficulties, and there will be hurdles, especially with elderly citizens or with the computer illiterate, like you earlier kindly said, or the stuff. There should be more than awareness, like some type of courses, some type of sections or departments that is being established in every institution for people of that sort to be able to assist them in case they fail to communicate with the digital world and this stuff. Any ideas about
I think this will be available, because once you apply the artificial intelligence, you will have definitely technical support people. So with these technical support people, they help everyone. But you need first of all to work on the resistance of the workforce, because some of the employees think that you're there to replace them with the robots, with the intelligent systems, with the AI. So you need to convey a different message. You need to explain to them that this AI is there to help, to support the decision making, not to replace the decision makers. That's the main message that should be conveyed to them.
But is it true that some employees will be replaced entirely?
We're talking about some jobs that will disappear, definitely. Because with the automation, you're replacing some of, let's say, the simple jobs by machines. But we need to educate these employees so that they can benefit out of having these machines, not to be replaced. We're not talking about replacing them, but we're talking about educating them and training them so that they can perform a better job, a more productive task, as we say. That's why we always start by what we call the re-engineering.
Re-engineering?
Yes, we revise the tasks, the processes that are there, and sometimes we find that we need to exclude or delete, again using the IT jargon, delete some of these tasks, and then focus on other ones and even develop new ones, so as to be able to apply the AI methodology afterwards.
Right. How do you think artificial intelligence will be able to achieve or have a major role in Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs?
As you know, that the AI can contribute in achieving the 17 goals, but in different ways. So for example, let's say take the education, providing better education services. How? By applying the AI, we get to know the learner better. So we know the learning pace, we know the learning style, and hence we can work on providing personalized programs. Same model applies for the healthcare services. Yes, that's the goal number 3. So with healthcare services, we can do the same. We can get to know the patient better, having kind of early detection for the disease, and then the intervention will be much earlier than what we used to do. So providing prediction, providing better diagnosis, better prognosis, new treatments, drug discovery. That's the contribution of the artificial intelligence. For the gender equality, once you train the system in a good way, and let's say in an objective way, then definitely you will not have any discrimination regarding the gender. So as you see, you can apply the AI in all of the 17 SDGs.
Of course, we talked about artificial intelligence helping cities and building cities and building communities, but could it build cultures? To build the culture or to change the culture of the society?
No,
build new cultures.
It will eventually lead to having a new culture in the society, because you will perceive things in a different way. Okay, you will make use of these systems in a different way, so you will have a different style of life. Like what we say right now, for example, we have some assistance from the AI systems. That was not the case. So we think now of the mobile, of the social network, of the systems, of the robots. We think of them as supporting aids for us. So I guess that's a new culture that will be there maybe in the coming 5 or 10 years.
Right. Some people think of artificial intelligence sometimes, like if they are observing or doing some analysis over the concept of artificial intelligence as something that is a two-sided weapon. Sometimes it could be unethical, or people could misuse it. Is that true?
Yes. Some people think that having an intelligent system means that it will be very ethical and very professional, which is not the case. Because we as humans, we train the system. So if we, for example, provide some data, some samples that do not represent our society, we will come up with different results that might be unethical, that might have some discrimination. So it depends the way you train and feed the system. Because again, we start by humans. The humans are still controlling these systems. So that's one point. Another point is that we're really scared of having these robots in the coming, let's say 5 to 10 years again, because they will have more information. They will have accumulated experience and information, and this will empower these robots. That's one of the major fears for us as AI specialists.
Right, but you talked about the experience. It caught my ear, experience. Do robots, I mean, how could they have experience? Do they have experience in their mind and in their agenda like human beings?
We develop these systems by providing them what we call the way we can think. Because right now you'll have robots that are thinking, that are inventing new models or a new language, for example. So now we transfer this ability to the system, and we equip them with some knowledge. That's the word experience. So they have a knowledge base, and we allow them with the machine learning methods to learn from their own experience. That's why they will start having kind of accumulated experience. And since they do not tire, they do not get sick, they do not have any problems, then they're accumulating experience. By the end of the day, they will have more experience than some of the experts in some domains. And that's our fear.
Is it experience in the sense of experience that is built on things that you add when you know too much information, or it is accumulated information so that it could be given out in professionally, but not in the sense of like a human being having it in the sense of an experience, like learning and then acting on your own?
That's what's going to happen with the machine
Really?
learning methods, yes, and the deep learning. They're able to learn and to have more experience without having to go back to the humans. And that's the problem.
Wouldn't that sound a little bit scary?
It is scary. Okay, but we allowed them to do so. We allow these machines to learn from their own experience without our intervention.
Right. Definitely we would be having another episode to talk about that
Machine
particular
learning,
robot sector. Of course, Dr. Nevine Makram Labib, you're a professor of artificial intelligence and, of course, data science consultant. I'd like to thank you so much and wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
You have a beautiful day. And we're going to go to a short break and we'll come to continue the breakfast show, so stay with us.